my name is Vicki McCarty from Calico Patch Designs, and I'm here to talk to you about our Blue Jar Medley Mystery Stitch Along. This right here, this is block 1. This started on January the 31st. So the blocks are available for a free download, or you can purchase the pattern and the kit from each individual designer. So I'm here to talk to you about some different techniques that I use to make mine. First thing you need to do is your homespun background. You'll have a 14-inch background and you'll need to put a stay stitch all around it because it will tend to ravel out, especially this particular fabric. The pluses and the crosses in it, they tend to come out really easily. So, and with your handle and it trying to do your stitching, you'll definitely want to put a stay stitch around it, about a scant 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Then what I like to do is come in with my tailor's chalk and just make a little light mark showing where my 12.5-inch block will be, so I'll know where I'm going to trim it down to after my stitching is done. Now, when I do my wool applique or my cotton applique or any type of appliques, I use light steam seam 2. Now, some people don't use any fusibles. Some like to staple, some like to pin, some like to tack. There's no right or wrong way, and that's fine. So, but this is my choice, what I like to use. This one allows me to fuse it down and allows me to travel with it and actually go out on the road with it. So, I will draw my appliques onto my fusible. I will iron them to the wrong side of my wool. There's not really a wrong or right side to wool usually, but if you're working with hand-dyed wool, sometimes you'll have one side that you like a little better than the other. So once I get it drawn on my steam seam, I will loosely cut around where my pattern pieces are. I will peel the paper off the back of it and just stick it to the wrong side of the wool. Then I'll take it to the iron. I will press and use lots of steam to adhere my pieces to the back of my wool. Then I will cut out on the line all of my applique pieces. Now once I have the applique pieces done, then I'm ready to use my applique pressing sheet. This is probably my most favorite tool that I cannot do without. Whether I'm doing cottons, any type of appliques, wool, anything, I have to have my applique pressing sheet. Okay, so what I do is it's a Teflon sheet, and you can use it over and over again. You can't wear one out, and there's not a right or wrong side to it either. But I will lay my applique pressing sheet on top of my placement pattern so that I can see my my patterns shining through the applique pressing sheet. I will peel the paper off the back and start to build my appliques from the bottom up. There you can see that I'm peeling the paper off, and you'll notice that I've got my layers down. So the farthest layer goes down first, and I just start building it up as I go. The light steam seam 2 has a tackiness, a stickiness to it, and I also like that because that means it's not going to move every time I wiggle. But if you'll notice in this picture, you can see that the jar's down first, the shadow from the inside of the jar, and then I start building everything up on top of that. So now at this point I've not fused anything down, I'm just applying my appliques in place. And on this picture you can see how you can see the beads and things all sticking out behind my appliques, because you can see through that sheet to my placement sheet. You see through the applique pressing sheet. So once I have everything down like I want it, I will get them all down there and take a good look at it, and then I will bring my iron in and I will start using lots of steam and fuse all that together. So when you've got several layers, if you look at some of those sunflowers, you'll see there's, with the leaves under it and everything else under it, there's 4 to 5 layers of wool there. So, and here's the thing I hear a lot. A lot of people doesn't like to use the light steam seam 2 because they feel like it gunks up their needle. Well, what I have found is if I don't use enough heat to activate that fusible, that's when my needle will get gunked up. So if that's the case, I'll just take it back. I don't care how much I've stitched on it. If I come to a piece that's leaving my needle all gunked up, I will come back to the iron and repress it again. So it takes lots and lots of steam and lots of heat. I will even flip my applique pressing sheet over at this point and even fuse it from the back side too, so that the heat will get into the different layers. Once I have it all fused down, now I need to figure out my placement. Now in this picture, the nothing is fused into place. I'm just laying it down on there to see if I like, if I like where it's at, and make sure that when I trim down like to my 12.5-inch block, that it will be ready, that it won't be too big for that block. So you can see my shelf, I've laid it down there. Now I did not fuse the shelf on the applique pressing sheet because I wanted to be able to have a little control of it. So I laid the shelf on there, I laid my lace down there to see if I liked it, and then the applique, I peeled off the applique pressing sheet. It's now one piece, and I can lay it down and take a look. Once I have it where I want it, I can take the jar applique and lay it either back on my applique pressing sheet or lay it upside down somewhere. And then now I know where I want my lace and my shelf to be. So I fused the shelf into place, and then I went to my sewing machine and stitched down the lace using matching threads and stitched it into place. So I did do it by machine. So now that I'm got everything fused down, I'm ready to stitch. First thing I will do is go around and add my blanket stitch to everything so that everything is stitched down really well. And then I want to add my embellishments. So I use what's called a Sulky Tear Easy stabilizer. It is, there's other brands, but other brands don't tear off as easy as this. This is the only one that I have found that I really like. So what I will do with it, in order to add my detail, not embellishments I said a minute ago, in order to add the detail, like the word ball jar or ball mason and the stems for my berries, the veins in the leaves. So what I did was cut a piece of the Sulky Tear Easy stabilizer. It comes in 1 yard, 3 yard, or I've got it on the bolt even. But I will lay that paper down on there and draw all my detail on it. Then I can take it to my block, and as you can see through it enough to know if it's lining up. So I will line it up, I will pin it from the back, and then I will add my detail and stitch everything down. So when I stitched the word ball and mason, that was done with a blanket stitch, or not a blanket stitch, I'm sorry, with a chain stitch and an outline stitch. And I stitched those in place. The little path for the bee on the little label, that was done with my Sulky Tear Easy. The veins on the leaves were done. Now the detail on my flowers were not done. I've learned that you can't do a lazy daisy stitch or any kind of decorative type, any kind of loose stitch, because when I get ready to remove my Sulky Tear Easy, it distorts it when I start ripping it off. So I don't like to do that. So I will come back and do those freehand. Go back to the other picture, Tom, the close-up. So to do my grandmother's lace, I could do the bones of it, like the main branches of that with the Sulky Tear Easy and get that in the way I needed it. But then I went back and added the little fern stitches around it, and that way I wasn't pulling off the Tear Easy out of the little tiny places. So that was not used for that. So anytime I add fine detail, I usually don't use the stabilizer. So here's the block complete. You'll go back and trim it down to 12.5 inches to be ready for the next one. But I think it turned out just adorable. Of course, I love blue jars. I'm a canner and a gardener, so I love it. So I also have thread packs available for this. Now, the thread packs that I have available will only be used in my block. All the other designers will have their own thread packs available with theirs. So let me see what else I'm leaving out. It's a whole lot to think of. So a couple things I want to tell you about this. So every Monday for the next 12 weeks, there's going to be a new block revealed. There are 13 designers, but there's 2 that are a design team, so there'll be 12 blocks. And on every Monday, we will reveal a new one. My block was revealed on Monday. My block is available for a free download right now, but when the new one comes out next Monday, mine will no longer be free, and you would have to purchase the download, but then the next designers will be free. So make sure you keep up because they're only going to be available for that week. For free, yes, I'm sorry. You can purchase them, but they'll only be available free for that week. And like I said, this will last through April the 25th. The Woolly Friends, the girls that are in this with me, these ladies have put together some amazing blocks this time, and they're just going to be so cute. You're going to want every one of them, and I can't wait for you to see them all. So now let's see. A couple things I want to share with you, some new things that are going on in the shop. The new Primitive Quilts and Project magazine came out. I know some of my friends who have subscriptions got theirs in the mail today. We've got them available to sell if you don't have them as a subscription. This little quilt of mine is in there. It's called Something Blue. It does have wool applique in it, and it does have some hand stitching in it. Cute little quilt to lay out on a table or hang on the wall. I also have another stitch along that I'm working on, and this one has just started. We're on block 2. This is called Baskets and Linens. There'll be, of course, a basket and always a scarf in the block that is made from linen. It'll have lots of different embellishments, lots and lots of hand stitches, and but this is available now. This one was block 1. This is block 2. So this one just came out on the 1st. So on the 1st of every month I do a new one. But the stitches are just so much fun in these, and trying to keep the vintage feel to them all. So just excited about that. If you'd like to join me, you'll find more information on my website. So please follow me on my website, on Calico Patch Designs Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. Please follow us or sign up for us for our newsletter so that you can tell what's going on, what's new, and what's out there. I will be at, did I already talk about the Daytona Beach? Oh, I'm sorry. I will be doing shows again this year. 3 of the AQS shows that are coming up. One is Daytona Beach. I will be there with my booth, but I'm also giving a lecture. So please, if you're down there, come and take the class with me, and we'll talk about some wool things. I'm also teaching at Branson. I think I've got several classes at Branson that I'm teaching. And of course, I will be at Paducah. And we'll be on the main floor this year. They won't have the Finkel building open this year. So I will be on the main floor with the quilts and everything. So please come by and see us there. Thank you all so much for letting me do what I love to do. I love to stitch. I feel very blessed to be able to do this, and I thank you so much for watching this. And if you would, stay tuned. Oh, I forgot something. This is our little sewing machine LED light. It's not dark enough for you to see how it's changing colors, but it is so cute. And I modeled it after my quilt on the cover of Quilt Sampler in 2018. So we have these for sale on our website. You can leave them on one solid color, or you can change them out to be the color, whatever color you would want, or you can, let it change colors. But it runs off batteries and USB. So please, those make awesome little gifts. I had one lady, I think, that ordered 6 because she was going to give them as gifts. So please check that out. But thank you so much for watching. And I hope you'll join us for our Blue Jar Medley and join all of our designers. And may God bless.